Hello everybody, and welcome back to Resonance Reviews. Today we are talking about the EarAcoustic Audio VSA PM Crown, which is their new planar magnetic flagship IM. This comes in at $850, making it the most expensive IM that they sell by a large margin, and is one that has been a little bit overshadowed by their massive deluge of recent releases. I think that that's a darn shame, considering how fantastic the VSA PM actually is. And with that, let's get into the details about why I think the VSA PM should be on your radar if you're looking for a premium planar magnetic flagship experience. Now before we get started, let's talk some technical specifications. It comes with an 11.4 millimeter ribbon driver. If it's an actual ribbon driver, which based on how good it sounds, it may be, that's very impressive, and I don't know of any other IMs in this price point, more expensive, cheaper, at all, that have a true and proper ribbon driver. That's a technology that's pretty much been reserved for a small number of full-sized headphones. It has 16 ohms of impedance, it's got sensitivity of 105 decibels of SPL per milliwatt, and it comes with a 0.78 millimeter 2-pin cable with a 4.4 millimeter termination. Now for the unboxing, oh, that's quite reflective. For the unboxing, if you want to see that, that is going to be in a separate YouTube short, so if you're not interested in unboxing, I am not going to bore you with it here. I'll leave that link in the description down below. Now let's talk sound. This is going to be an abridged, shortened version of my overall assessment of the sonics of the VSA PM. So if you're looking for a more verbose and detailed and nitty-gritty assessment, check out my full-length written review, just like with the unboxing. That link will be in the description down below. And so let's just get into it. The VSA PM has a V-shaped sound signature with an emphasis on treble and upper mids. It has a slightly recessed lower mid-range and a lifted mid and sub-bass. This isn't quite a gently V-shaped sound signature. It is properly V-shaped, but it's not as dramatic as you'll find with the modern contemporaries like the the T Pro or the Unicron or something like that. In terms of treble, the VSA PM has the most cohesive, smoothest treble I've heard on any planar IM. Whether, whatever ribbon driver EarAcoustic Audio is using, whether it's the real deal or not, it doesn't matter, because the VSA PM doesn't need to fake its smoothness by recessing the entire upper register like some other planar IMs actually do. Its brightness is both striking and refined, and that allows the listener to really bask in the texture and detail of treble-bound elements, like hi-hats and cymbals, for example. If you're listening to a track like In One Ear by Cage the Elephant, for example, the VSA PM demonstrates an enormous amount of speed and resolution by resolving the shimmering and gently fading hi-hats and percussion in the background, and it does so while managing a fairly immersive soundstage. And the VSA PM's mid-range is, in a word, transparent. It's clean and clear, and it leverages neutral tonality without recessing the lower mid-range too badly. I mean, the VSA PM's timbral smoothness extends even to its mid-range and gives vocals and instrumentation a kind of silken sweetness that many IEMs lack, particularly in the planar segment. And even dryly mastered tracks, like Flagpole Sitta, which is a common test track I use in my written reviews, sound good on the VSA PM, and they're weighty and they have an appropriate level of undertones of richness, because the VSA PM manages the transition from its lower mid-range to its mid-bass very well. And speaking of bass, I quite like the VSA PM's bass. It's capable of both punch and rumble, and it extends well below the 50 Hertz mark. The VSA PM's bass isn't the biggest, nor is it the most intense that you'll find even in the planar segment, but it is well controlled and smooth and entirely enjoyable in genres like rock, alternative, R&B, and then a smattering of electronic genres, be it dubstep or progressive house or whatever it is that you listen to. It's substantive enough to bring, concreteness and depths to drum slams as well as synthetic bass drops. like you might find in DJ Fresh's Gold Dust. This isn't really bass that is well suited to the taste of a bass head or somebody who wants something like an exotic L-shaped sound signature. Obviously, this is not going to suit you, but for those who are even remotely interested in balance with their V-shaped IMs, it will do well for your tastes. This is a very special IM that combines a comfortable and expressive sound signature with a sense of sweetness and smoothness that is difficult to find anywhere else. And I think that does mean that it is a truly special IM. And I demoed this to a number of friends at CanJam SoCal this year, and they seemed to agree. So it's not just me, guys. Now let's talk build quality. If you have looked at any other EarAcoustic audio product, you know they love metal shells. The VSA PM is no exception. It uses the same style of metal shells that you'll find on the SPA series, particularly the SPA limited edition. I think the limited edition version 1 has very similar shells externally. The shape is a little bit different, but I'd say that they're broadly speaking the same. They're big, they're heavy duty, they have heft and substance to them, they feel premium in the hand, and the VSA PM has a mirror-like finish on its faceplate that is a lot classier than the mega jumbo sparkles that you'll get on some of the cheaper models. The nozzles are also made out of metal, which is great for longevity and durability, and it implies to me that you're really not going to deal with the cracking problems that you would get on other resin nozzled IMs or resin shelled IMs for that matter. It uses, as I mentioned earlier, 0.78mm 2-pin sockets, and it comes with a detachable cable that has a 4.4mm fixed termination. It is not modular. The cable, which I actually have right here, the cable is nice and hefty, and this is actually a bespoke cable. I'll throw some pictures on screen to give you a little bit more detail. And it looks and feels great in the hand. And this is among the highest quality, most premium feeling stock cables I have come across on any IM. But if you're interested in aftermarket cables and you come across, Plus Sound and some of their modern coaxial cables, it's kind of like that. It's nice and supple, and it, as I said, it just feels great in the hand, and it communicates a sense of substance and quality that I appreciate. Now let's talk accessories. They did give the VSA PM a bespoke cable, and they gave it an upgraded case. So it's not one that's identical to any other product that you'll get in this price range. However, I still do have my problems with this. You only get 4 pairs of silicone ear tips. No foam. You don't get any fancy liquid silicone ear tips. You don't get hybrid ear tips. There are no name brand ear tips, which again is not a requirement. But look at like the Dunu Vulcan 2. It comes with a ton of ear tips. Look at the Ito, which is even cheaper than that. Tons of ear tips, and they put a lot of effort into making sure that they've sourced high quality, robust ear tips that will suit a lot of people. I can't really even use the VSA PM stock ear tips comfortably and with a strong seal. They just don't work for my ears. Now, if they included foam ear tips, at the very least, I could use those, and that probably would have done very well. In fact, when I listen to the VSA PM in my off time, I use Comply foam ear tips, which work very, very well. And honestly, for an $850 IM, the customer does deserve more than the basic silicone ear tips that were included with the VSA PM. And as far as the case goes, I showed it briefly earlier. This case is not bad at all. I like it. It's spacious enough, and it includes even these magnetic flappy parts here that allow you to secure the IM in place to prevent it from bashing around. That was a good idea. However, this isn't exactly airtight, it's not watertight. It will protect the IM fairly well in a backpack or a purse or something. But if you're a commuter and you walk around, or you're expecting to need to travel through rain or high humidity, I strongly suggest that you use a Pelican 1010 for that. This is what I use to transport my VSA PM or really any of my high-end IMs when I'm out and about. It's about 20 bucks. All right, now let's get into comparisons. Again, this is going to be a little bit more brief. If you want the full-length comparisons, you want a little bit more detail, look at the full-length written review, link in the description. And now let's talk the Campfire Audio Astrolith. This is a dual planar magnetic driver flagship IM from Campfire Audio. It's $2,200, making it more than double the price, almost triple the price of the VSA PM. But that doesn't mean that it's totally better. So the VSA PM is, I would say, at least 90% of the way to the Astrolith in terms of technical capabilities. It's a little bit less V-shaped, it has less bass, it has a little bit less extension in the sub bass as well, and it's not as bright as the Astrolith is. In general, the Astrolith is a lot more intense, and its bass being so much more forward and visceral does make it more engaging, but is also a little bit more tiring over extended listening sessions. The Astrolith also can sometimes come across as a little bit sharp, meaning that if you're sensitive like I am, or perhaps even more sensitive than I am, the Astrolith is going to become very tiring very quickly if you have sharply mastered tracks or are listening at higher volumes. The VSA PM is a little bit more gentle in its upper mid-range and its treble, making it more relaxed and suitable to longer listening sessions or those with sensitive ears. That doesn't mean that the VSA PM is just the better IEM. The VSA PM comes with a 1-year warranty, and the Astrolith comes with a longer warranty, but I'm pretty sure it's a 2-year warranty backed by a fair repair program. Now, if you are a bass head or somebody that wants a little bit more, wants more bass than the VSA PM has to offer, then the Astrolith is a better choice. It's more intense, it's more visceral, it's deeper, it's punchier. You're just going to be getting a better bass response from the Astrolith, full stop. Now, what do I prefer? If I'm going to be choosing between the two, I'm usually reaching for the VSA PM. Its greater degree of sonic comfort, combined with the fact that it's not nearly as expensive, means that I'm more comfortable using it out and about, and it's also a little bit more flexible than the than the Astrolith is, considering the fact that I don't have to worry about the mastering style of the track I'm listening to when I'm listening at medium volumes. With the Astrolith, I have to be a little bit more careful because, again, I am a little sensitive to how energetic it is in the upper register. Now let's talk about another EarAcoustic audio product. This is the SPA LE comparison, and LE of course stands for limited edition. The limited edition is a $429 single dynamic driver IM. Again, it's all metal shells, and it's very similar physically to the VSA PM. That said, they also have a striking amount of similarities in terms of tuning. They're not the same, but they do have some overlap. Both of them are generally V-shaped. I would say that the SPA LE is a little bit less V-shaped, although it does have a more authoritative mid-bass presence. The VSA PM is considerably brighter. I'd say it has a treble shelf that the SPA LE does not have. And the SPA LE actually does have it does put up a pretty good fight in terms of technical capabilities. It has a kind of clear and eager spryness to it that competes very well with the massive amounts of resolution and transparency offered by the VSA PM. Does that mean that it's equally as performant? No, it's not. The VSA PM does noticeably pick up on texture and detail and subtleties in a track that the SPA Limited Edition might gloss over or, smudge a little bit. That said, if you are interested in V-shaped or gently V-shaped sound signature, then the SPA Limited Edition is actually going to be better suited to your tastes, and it does so for significantly reduced price. You're saving $420 because, again, the VSA PM is basically double the price of the SPA LE. You're not getting double the performance with the VSA PM. Frankly, you're not, but you are getting more performance, and in particular, you're getting a little bit more sub-bass presence. You're getting much more energy and articulation and refinement in the upper register. Now, as for which one I go with, it's difficult to choose. My mood will dictate which one that I pick up, but I think that the vast majority of people are probably better suited to the much cheaper SPA Limited Edition. I mean, it really, the significant reduction in price is going to suit most people. But if you're interested in Planar IEMs specifically, or you are chasing performance and you're not so worried about price to performance or whatever the value proposition is, then the VSA PM is a better choice. If you want a brighter IM, the VSA PM is a better choice, and it's really just going to deliver that flagship level experience that the SPA LE, while it is very good, does not exactly nail. Now let's talk about the 7 Hz Timeless 2. This is not a fair comparison. It just isn't. And the Timeless 2 is significantly cheaper than the VSA PM. We're talking a $600 plus deficit between the two IMs. So why am I comparing them? Well, it's not just to, beat up on the Timeless 2. And I wouldn't want to do that because it's got a lot of fans out there. But really, this is just as a sanity check for myself. Does the Timeless 2 have a significant difference in performance compared to the VSA PM? The VSA PM is so much more expensive, you would expect that it does. And the good news for prospective VSA PM buyers is that it does perform better than the Timeless 2. And in fact, if you are comparing them as an A/B test, the difference is noticeable. And it's particularly noticeable in the lower mid-range, stretching all the way down to the sub-bass. The lower register of the Timeless 2 is a little bit fuzzier and much worse defined in terms of technical capabilities and resolution compared to the VSA PM. And that's kind of what you would expect when you're taking a value-focused planar IM like the Timeless 2 and comparing it to a luxurious, no-holds-barred flagship like the VSA PM. And this is how it's supposed to be. If you sell a flagship IM, you should be beating value-focused product like the Timeless 2. So really, that's what I wanted to discuss. If you're wanting to know what the actual difference is sound-wise compared to the gold flower nozzle, which is the one that my Timeless 2 is sitting on, the VSA PM is brighter. It's got a cooler mid-range. It's got a little bit more mid-bass punch. That punch is significantly better defined, and it extends much further into the sub-bass. That sub-bass is likewise better defined. Total sonic control across the board is better on the VSA PM, and its timbre and tonal consistency and cohesion is just better on the VSA PM. But again, that's to be expected given the significant gap in price. And now let's talk about one that I haven't really done before, which is the Campfire Audio Grand Luna versus the VSA PM. Now the Grand Luna is a $1,400 planar hybrid IM featuring a full-sized planar magnetic driver and two balance armature drivers that are focused on treble reproduction. The VSA PM is a cooler, more V-shaped IM, and the Grand Luna is warmer, a little bit more linear, and significantly less bright than the VSA PM. Both IMs are incredibly strong performers, and neither is short on technical capabilities, resolution, texturing, you name it. The Grand Luna has a little bit of a less natural timbre to it, particularly because it has so much extra warmth, but the goal of the Grand Luna is quite different from the VSA PM. Both IMs are concerned with smoothness and ease of listening, but the Grand Luna goes all in on that philosophy and makes sure that it is across the board entirely inoffensive. The VSA PM is bassier, but not by much. Neither of these are bass head IMs. Again, at the end of the day, they're also planar drivers. So I think that the tuners at Campfire Audio and EarAcoustic Audio understand that there is a limit to what even a very good planar driver is going to produce with bass. So they don't step over that line and make sure that the drivers stay coherent and consistent. And while there's enough there for electronic music on both sides, they're not really bassy in the sense, like I said, that you would get compared to like the T Pro or the Martillo or any of the other similar IMs in that vein. So don't expect that. But the VSA PM does have a little bit more mid-bass intensity, but it has a very similar amount of sub-bass throughput compared to the Grand Luna. The Grand Luna, I think, rumbles a little bit better, way down low in like the 20 to 50 hertz range, but honestly, they're both pretty similar in terms of bass overall. Now, which IM is better? That's really tough to say. So if you are looking for something that is warm and smooth and luxurious and rich with zero hints of energetic nonsense that you might get from other planar IMs, then you're gonna go with the Grand Luna. If you want something that is properly V-shaped with brightness without being too sharp, I guess, because it's not sharp to me at all, but without being too sharp, then the VSA PM is the way to go, and you're gonna save money by going with it. And of course, you have to understand that there are going to be some things you gotta pick up, like a case and some ear tips, which will add a little bit to the price. In conclusion, the VSA PM is a remarkably well-tuned planar magnetic flagship IM from EarAcoustic Audio. There's some undeniably skilled tuners out there in their ranks, and I am glad to see that they are being put to task. While the VSA PM could use a little bit more, a hint, a dash of bass emphasis on top of what it already has, I am otherwise fully satisfied with its tuning. It does, however, need a revamped accessory package, particularly with its ear tips. There's simply not enough of them and not at the high enough qualities for a flagship IM, guys. This is $850 and you're sorely lacking in that department. There may be some more price conscious planar options these days. And for people who are, trying to maximize value, you're probably gonna be going with an IM like the Aether or something similar in the sub 200 price point. But for those of you who are looking to actually seek the best that the planar segment and the planar technology has to offer, the VSA PM is actually, in my opinion, a very compelling offering. Now, who is this IM actually for? This is for those who want a well-executed, resolving planar experience without sharpness. This is for those who want a north of neutral, I guess even gently V-shaped planar experience, who are willing to tolerate the extra brightness, who don't want warmth in their IMs. This is for those who want a bright IM without sibilance and are looking for tons of resolution on that front. The VSA PM is not for those who are seeking reference sound. It is not for bass heads. It's not for listeners with small ears because the shells, I think, are just a little bit too big. And this is not for buyers who are seeking maximum performance per dollar. There's a lot of cheaper IMs that are gonna be 80% of the way there. That may not deliver as special and unique of an experience, particularly on a timbral front, but that's just how it is when you're seeking price to performance and value per dollar. And with that, I would like to thank you very much for spending some time with me and listening to my thoughts and ramblings about the VSA PM. This is a special IM that I have zero regrets with buying, and is one that I am hoping more people pick up and enjoy for themselves. As always, I have a full-length written review where I go into greater detail and an unboxing, which I will link in the description down below. And as always, happy listening.